everyone's intrigued, Jimmer, about the current power situation. So I think we'll quickly just cover that before we really dive into some coach lore. Power right now, a couple of regionals. Just talk through us. What's going on with your split, and can you make the major?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously it's like possible. The planets all have to align. And just to rip the band-aid off, because I feel like there's been no sort of PR around that. Look, we've had an absolute tragic split. For those who aren't aware, Power and KCP have found each other twice in a row in the quarters. That's basically killed our points. So in OCE, only the top 2 teams make it. So realistically, if you want to be making it to majors, you need to be at least making the grand final or winning it. And so I think for us to even like make a tiebreak, I'm not too sure. I've pretty much given up looking at the points. We have to like hope that KCP just throw and lose in their groups, and somehow we win the whole regional. I think that's how it works. CJ, I'm not too sure if you've been glossing over the points, but I mean, we're not going to hold our breath on KCP losing, because I feel like this is the first time where the groups are quite well spread. I feel like the seeding is a little bit more balanced. So it's pretty much they're going to make it out of groups, and that's it. They've just secured themselves their spot.
And
you have to come in with the entire list of things. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of planets right there.
Yeah, and then the other few planets that I've forgotten about too is like we need like him police to like, we need to knock them out in the quarters or something like that. It's a bit messy. It just is what it is. So I mean, but that's at the end of the day, you got to beat the team in front of you, and we lost twice in a row in the quarters to KCP.
A little bit unlucky as well, because obviously the whole seeding, you can blame the region. Like Ground Zero, a completely new team, but obviously now they're number 1 seed. So they came into the start of the split through qualifiers, unseeded, blew up the groups. And then I guess it's kind of like the MENA battle that everyone's watching right now. It's sort of turned into a situation about matchups and who you play when, because the format, when you've got say 3 good teams, well, 2 of them are always going to be on the same side of the bracket, or sometimes 3 of them, which nearly happened in OCE. Do you find yourself unlucky that you've played Power a couple of times? I know you have to beat who's in front of you. Oh, sorry, Pioneers. I know you have to beat who's in front of you, but you played the number 2 or one of the top 3 teams twice in a top 8 match. It's pretty unlucky.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's a two-edged sword, because it could be an advantage too. Because let's say we came out across on top against KCP, that would have extended our lead, right? So it's like, it really is a bit of a gamble. Unfortunately, with the group system, with the seeding how it was, moving into a single elim top 8, it really does feel like it's kind of a bit of a gamble for OCE, because you are fighting for that top 2 spots, and especially in like MENA where only 1 team goes, right? So it is kind of like you are battling the bracket too. Obviously, there's no match fixing or collusion. That just gets you eliminated. But at the end of the day, you just have to perform. You expect to win. You want to beat the teams in front of you. And if it just so happens that you've come across arguably, the best team or the second best team in the region in the quarterfinals twice, it just gets a bit stiff. So I recognize that it's maybe a better system where you have 5 teams traveling overseas. Like I recognize that can work a bit better. There's a little bit more stability there, because so much is predicated on the groups and stuff in NA and EU. Whereas in OCE, it's like, you're really climbing for those extra few points just to make it. And look, at the end of the day, we should be beating the team in front of us. So while we can say it's a bit unlucky, if it went the other end of the spectrum, we would have been lucky, because we would have extended a massive lead against KCP. And then the third regional is almost redundant, right? That's why I find NA and EU so much more exciting, because the third regional so much sits on the line. Like take EU with G1 and EG. I've already forgotten the third.
G1 Quadrant GA,
Quadrant. Yeah, and then and that was really exciting. It's like, oh my goodness, it's all coming down to the line, and it kind of works out. Whereas OCE, it's like, you kind of missed out a little bit. That's it. GG's.
Well, I guess it's a pretty hot topic right now, the format. Obviously, MENA, it's happened as well, where technically, it just happened this morning. Rule 1 probably needed to throw their group to play Falcons earlier.